It's not so much who you can trust. It's more about understanding and one, not being gullible. And two, it's more about being able to assess information. Papa Swole, everyone thinks they are right when it comes to diet and fitness. How do I know? Ooh, this is a good question. How do I know who I can trust? Hmm. Well, one thing I would say is you need to consume from many different sources. It takes effort. It definitely takes effort. It's not so much who you can trust. It's more about understanding and one, not being gullible, and two, and that just takes some time and sometimes some experience. It's more about being able to assess information. It's not so much, it's not really about trust. It's not really about trust. It's more about verifying and understand. Yeah. Look at that, Matt. Trust no one and verify everyone. That's why, yeah. Well, that's actually Bitcoin's model. Don't trust, verify. So if you understand how to think, right? If you understand how to think, or this is a problem. This is a very long answer because you're not taught how to think, you're taught what to think. So if you actually learn critical thinking skills and you absorb content and you absorb information from various sources, you can cross-check and use common sense and logic and self-education in order to see where people are embellishing and try to sift out the emotion or the opinion. So for example, right? So for example, it's not so much about diet and fitness. It's pretty much the same thing with anything. It's the same thing with politics. It's the same thing with financial information. There's a lot of noise everywhere. It's the internet. Everyone's got a voice about anything. If you want to look up stuff on Beanie Babies, there's going to be a lot of content about Beanie Babies still. And who gives a fuck about Beanie Babies? Like 4 people. So no matter what kind of industry you're looking at, there's going to be people that are full of shit. So especially when there's money involved, people are going to be full of shit. One thing I would say, if you are, depending on the person who's talking, right? Think about how they stand to benefit from from the information they're giving you. That's what I would say. What's the motive? What are they selling you? What's in it for them? How about that? What's in it for them? So if someone's pushing, of course I have Swolenormous X and I have products and services because it's a business. I mean, people have to make money. There's a lot of people in this world. That's how the economy works. People have products and services. And then if another party wants their products and services, then they do business together. So a lot of times and that's why that kind of goes into, and this doesn't mean that anyone who has a sponsor is not trustworthy, but that's why I'm very hesitant and I don't have any real connections or any kind of sponsors or ads. I don't run other people's ads on my, maybe YouTube, like play an ad before my video, but it's pretty standard. But in terms of actual representing another brand, a lot of times there's just ulterior motives and other hands in people's pockets. And if someone doesn't have an independent voice, it definitely breaks that trust with me. And it really puts it more on shaky ground. I hate it when I'm listening to a podcast and ad interrupts and, there's a fine line between making sure that you can pay the bills and providing, authentic content that actually has integrity behind it. I might be rambling a little bit, but it makes sense in my mind. I hope it makes sense to you. So in other words, like, how do you know how to trust? You have to be able to critically think. You have to be able to cross-check information. You have to be able to think for yourself. And that's a real hard thing to do. And you definitely have to verify information. You just don't believe anything that you hear, and understand and learn and practice how to filter out what is an opinion and what is an objective truth. So, for example, when it comes to any kind of political information or social podcasts and stuff, I listen to people from I absorb content all over the place. I absorb content. I'm aware of information from all extremes and mediums, and I know what's going on, and I can formulate my own opinion based on the facts that I gather from different places. And that's what it takes. It takes time and effort, but you have to be able to think through shit. You have to be able to sift things down, which is why the 7 pillars, for example, and the Swole Fam, which is why it's so fundamental, because those are truths. Those are things that are fucking legit and real. Right? Food quality. Okay, that what your food choices are going to be on an individual level, that's going to vary, but quality nonetheless. Taking care of your physical health, your environment, your community, and your recovery and your mental health, building discipline, consistency. Those are fundamentals, because a lot of the other details aren't that important, and they're going to vary dramatically across time and space and cultures. Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you, fam. Appreciate that. Had to. But you have to be able to think for yourself. Because aside from that, people are just going to be like, "Oh, trust me." And everyone's going to be like, "No, trust me. Trust me. Trust me." You can't just believe what people say. Make sure people are walking the walk. They're not just running their mouth. How do they benefit from the information they're giving you? If they're telling you to, you can tell when you get someone who's kind of shisty and starts to kind of, be a little more swindly and try to, be pushing supplements too hard, and, use those senses as a human being. Use those senses as a human being. Like if someone creeps you out or gives you a weird feeling, it doesn't matter. You don't trust them. Like that's it. That's enough. It doesn't mean don't listen to what they say for a little bit. Try to extract some stuff, because let's say you got a lot of recommendations. Okay, maybe someone's annoying. You just don't like their voice. There's a lot of those people that know their stuff, but just like, I can't, you can't stand hearing them, or you don't want to look at their face. You just don't like their content. Fine. There are millions of channels and piece of content, people in the world, and there's just so many sources to get information from. There's plenty for everyone. So you have to be able to critically think. And if you get a bad feeling, or you have to hone those skills. That's why kids and children, don't take candy from strangers. I know this is going really fucking off the rails, seemingly, but not really. Don't take candy from strangers, because kids are fucking gullible, because they have no experience. They don't know any better. That's why it's so disgusting when there's a crime, or like a sexual crime or something, or any kind of issue with, pedophilia or something. That's the worst, because kids are trusting. They're just by default. They don't have they don't have that agency at that age. They don't have that. So that's where you need to get experience and listen and read books and listen. That's what's great about podcasts is books are fantastic for just information. Of course, there could be a lot of bias there too, but listening to long form podcasts, listening to a lot of content, you can hear how someone says something. You're not going to know how someone is just by hearing a 20-second clip or like a 30-second or a tweet. Because there are some people out there that just based on mainstream media and whatever I have heard growing up, you're like, oh, this person's a lunatic. This person's like super fringe or like really out there, whatever it is. Or, oh, that person's X, Y, and Z, right? Just some kind of labeled mainstream media will be like, oh, this person's a fucking kook or something like that. And then I've had that happen. I'll listen to a long podcast and holy shit, this person's brilliant. They were just railroading him or her and just trying to run them out of the industry or hush something up or cover something up. And you realize, oh, you learn, it's experience, and you become a lot more realistic and worldly. But yeah, intuition goes a long way. There are books on that too. There are books on intuition and instinct, and it's legit. It's legit. Humans can tell, and you can tell a lot more. You can get a lot more sense when someone's talking, or you can listen and hear the way someone's, because you know the English language. You can say a certain word or a phrase 20 different ways. It'll mean 20 different things. So you have to really converse with someone.
We stay woke, but y'all sleep. Real emo, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in real emo. I said stay woke, real emo. Stay woke, real emo. I said stay woke, real emo. Stay woke, real emo. I said stay woke, real emo. Stay woke, real emo. I said stay woke, real emo. Stay woke, real emo. Hey, y'all some jokers, y'all a bunch of clowns. You will not get a laugh out of me. You can talk, but you can't denounce. I live a different theology. Why I transferred to a new account? You just fucked over a prodigy. Posted up with a rented crown. You are the king of apology. You about to see a new side of me. I hope you know. We stand alone, watch our enemy go. Empire fall, my legacy grows. I might just